Hi, welcome back. Time to do some more baking. Today we're gonna make a simple but delicious apple tart. It's a straightforward recipe, but the attention is in the detail. So let's do this. For these apple tarts, I'm using my homemade creme patisserie or custard and my old butter puff pastry. You'll find both recipes on my playlist Patisserie Basics, and you should see the link coming onto the screen any second now. I'm going to start by rolling out my puff pastry. Just some flour. Obviously you can use a bit of flour, but try and use not too much, and then brush it off. When you roll out puff pastry, try and roll it out carefully. You don't want to force it, otherwise it's just going to shrink. I'm going to cut 2 discs from this, and I use this bowl as a guidance. I don't want to push down the bowl. I don't want to put any pressure on the puff pastry. And then with a sharp knife, just cut around. Don't cut down, cut around. Because we want to try and keep all the nice layers of my puff pastry intact. That's it. Lift the bowl and do the other one. Just go around with a sharp knife. That's it. And then just take the excess pastry away. I've got a baking tray lined with some baking paper, and I'm going to put my discs on there. Next, I'm going to pierce my puff pastry discs, but only the center. I'm going to leave the outer 1.5 centimeters, like half an inch. I'm going to leave them intact, unpierced. So just go around. The idea of doing it like this is that the sides will nicely rise up or puff up, and the centers won't, because that's where our apple will be. Okay, I got some egg yolk here and a little pastry brush. And now we're just going to brush the edges, because we want to color those, but we're going to brush from the inside to the outside. Like I said, this is quite a simple recipe, but if you pay attention to the details, it becomes quite a beautiful piece of patisserie. So we brush it from the inside to the outside. And we try and make sure that there's no egg yolk running down the side. The reason why we do it like that, if there would be egg yolk running down the side, if you brush from the outside to in, you're going to have egg yolk running down the side. It's going to stick and bake on the side, and it prevents the puff pastry from puffing up. I'm just going to loosen up my creme patisserie a little bit. And I've got a piping bag with a round nozzle, and I'm going to put a nice layer of creme patisserie in the center of my disc. Okay, I'm going to peel my apple. I'm just going to cut my apple in half. If you have an apple corer, use it. I'm going to cut my apple half in thin slices. And you can go pretty thin. I'm going to take my apple half, and I'm going to take the big slices from the center, and I'm just going to stick them a little bit in the creme patisserie first. And yeah, you could say we're trying to make a flower. Okay, and then on top, and you just overlap them. And yes, this is going to come quite high, but when it bakes, the moisture will evaporate and it'll become smaller. Okay, if you have one of those end bits, just stick it in the middle. And then when you come to the top, you take our slices and cut them in half, and we keep going. Maybe another half slice on top, and that's it, that's our flour. So now the other one. That's it, that's our apple tarts assembled. Next I got some demerara sugar, and I'm just gonna add some cinnamon. Just gonna give this a stir and mix the cinnamon with the sugar. And then just sprinkle that on top. And you can be quite generous. This is gonna caramelize nicely. Well, that's the idea. That's it. Apple and walnut is a fantastic combination. And I'm just gonna coat these in maple syrup. It's just so they would stick on there. But obviously the maple syrup will caramelize and give it a beautiful flavor. So just gonna put a couple of whole ones at the top. And then just lay the walnut pieces on top. Okay, our apple tarts are ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna bake this in a preheated oven of 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. Let's check my apple tarts. Yeah, that's it. And that's it. And there you have it, my apple and walnut tarts. And if for one or other reason you can resist not to eat them immediately, although I doubt it, then a good tip is, if you want to keep them till the following day, heat up some apricot jam. I done this in the microwave, and then just brush them lightly with the jam. And then they will stay nice and fresh and shiny for the following day. Or even 2 days. If you've enjoyed this recipe, then like it, and please leave a comment, subscribe and click the bell. Thank you.